Homelessness in Britain, in London, is a deeply complex issue. And while it's true that a significant proportion of rough sleepers are foreign nationals, as highlighted by the Daily Telegraph today, focusing the discussion solely on immigration risks oversimplifying the problem. The broader challenges involve a combination of structural economic factors, government policy failures, and social issues such as mental health and things like addiction and so on. As of 2024, homelessness in London, which has surged significantly, there's over 4,100 people recorded as sleeping rough in the first quarter of this year, marking a 33% increase compared to 2023. And the crisis affects both UK citizens and non-citizens alike, particularly asylum seekers and refugees. Refugees and asylum seekers form a growing segment of London's homelessness problem. In January 2024, 311 refugees were recorded as sleeping rough. That's a 234% increase from just a few months prior, and most of these individuals had recently received positive asylum decisions but faced homelessness due to insufficient support and a short transition period from asylum accommodation to secure housing. That's from Crisis. That's Crisis information. The gender distribution data suggests that homelessness is predominantly a male issue, though the last time I was in London I spoke to a female homeless person, but about 80% of rough sleepers in London are men, although precise figures for refugees and asylum seekers aren't consistently broken down by gender. Again, Crisis is the source. Age-wise, most rough sleepers tend to be middle-aged, but the specific ages of homeless asylum seekers and refugees vary depending on individual cases and vulnerabilities, says the Refugee Council. And the broader homelessness problem is driven by various factors such as rising living costs, unaffordable rents, a shortage of social housing. Refugees face additional challenges such as language barriers and the limited time between the limited time to transition out of asylum accommodation into more secure accommodation that can lead to homelessness and to disorientation. But the Greater London Authority data shows that 55% of the homeless population in London are non-British. That's information from the Daily Telegraph today, including people from Romania, Poland and Eritrea, but this is new information. The Chain Report of 2023 indicates the presence of foreign nationals among rough sleepers reflects the intersection of migration, economic hardship, and the challenges of navigating life in an expensive and highly unequal city. Many of these individuals don't have access to housing or adequate social support, making them vulnerable to homelessness. And while foreign nationals form an increasingly larger part of London's homelessness, it's also important to contextualise this within the city's broader housing crisis. London's astronomical property prices and the lack of affordable housing options for people sort of just arriving in the city have created a situation where not only migrants but also British citizens are struggling. A study by Shelter, the UK's leading housing charity, shows that over 250,000 people in England, including thousands in London, are living in temporary accommodation. That's an increase of over 75% in the last decade. And homelessness is therefore both a symptom of broader social inequality as it is a failure of the government and the nation being able to address the housing shortages. The article in the Daily Telegraph today suggests that New Labour's efforts in the 1990s to reduce homelessness were successful, but that austerity measures since 2010 have severely impacted on our social services and particularly mental health. addiction treatment and housing assistance, and that has itself exacerbated the homelessness crisis. So according to the Office for National Statistics, between 2010 and 2021, rough sleeping in England rose by 52%, and cuts to welfare and housing benefits have made it difficult for low-income families to remain housed. The case of Roma individuals, highlighted in the Telegraph article, illustrates a specific issue where migration and homelessness intersect. But this framing risks casting homelessness as a largely foreign issue, which is misleading. And while some foreign nationals may engage in begging or fall into homelessness, they are not the majority cause of London's housing crisis. Systemic factors such as a lack of affordable housing, job insecurity, cuts in public services are the things that lie at the heart of the problem. And the government's current policies, including moves to repatriate Eastern European rough sleepers, are controversial, and while repatriation may alleviate short-term pressures, it doesn't address the underlying structural problems of housing and social support that cause homelessness in the first place. And the rough sleepers may face complex social problems, including mental illness and addiction, which require longer-term, compassionate solutions. So it's not simply appropriate for the present Labour government to continue and accommodate the plans put out by the previous government. The focus should be on improving the availability of affordable housing, improving support services rather than scapegoating specific groups, and policies that target migrants or asylum seekers may create temporary relief in the statistics, but they will fail to address the root cause of the issue. The lack of affordable housing, the frustrations of linking unemployment benefit to housing, the problems of addiction support, all of these need urgent attention if homelessness in London is to be reduced in a meaningful and a sustainable way.